Hello everybody, my name is Chani and today I'll be presenting to you my findings and recommendations on the Airbnb listings in New York. For my presentation, my target audience is the general public, travelers for business or leisure, or travel agents or individuals wanting to host Airbnb users. What we'll be seeing in the presentation is data collected from Tableau, and we'll be covering 5 major cities, that is Bronx, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Manhattan, and Queens. The data that we'll be using is from the period between 2008 and 2015. To begin with, we'll first understand the average price per neighborhood. What we see in the graph here is how the price ranges per neighborhood over a period of time. What we can see here is Manhattan has the highest average of $199.71, while Bronx is at the lowest at $95 approximately. There could be many reasons for these variations. However, from the dataset that we have, these reasons are unknown. Although this graph seems to be confusing and crowded at first, what it is actually trying to show is what the different average prices and the average review ratings are for a particular Airbnb in that zip code. We can see that once the interactivity feature has been added to this graph, if you hover over it, you can see and compare the prices in average over a period of time and also their ratings. In the next graph, what we see here is how different room types vary in prices. Although they change from localities in different prices, what we can see is a general view of how the prices differ. Like how villas, for an entire villa, it costs approximately $530, while a treehouse probably costs for a private room approximately $95. That seems to be a vast difference in houses, townhouses, and bed and breakfasts as well. We very well know that demand drives the prices, and we can clearly see that from this graph. Manhattan has the range of count of beds from 14,000 to 16,000, and we can see that the average price in Manhattan is around $200. But if we go down and see the average price and the count of beds in Bronx and Queens is relatively lower, while comparing that to Staten Islands, we see although they may not have as many beds as Brooklyn or Queens, the average price for that is more than Bronx and Queens, and even Brooklyn. This graph is also particularly useful for travel agents who are wanting to book Airbnbs for a large group of people, as they can see how the prices are affecting the number of rooms in that area. What is the best option for you? We very well like to compare the average price, the ratings in different hotels. In the same way, we can do that for the average review ratings in our presentation. We have taken the average ratings as the count of how many ratings we have received for those B&Bs that were listed in that time period. The more the number of ratings, we can say that maybe it is because of their popularity or because their stay was really good. Now, if you're considering to be a host, do you have a area that you want to rent out so you can have an extra income? We can see how hosts earned during the period between 2008 and 2015. As we see in 2008, if they were starting out as the host for the first time, the average income or the average price per bed was not as much, but we see how the fluctuations happened between 2010 and 2013. We particularly see the fluctuations for the prices in Staten Island and Bronx, while Manhattan continues to remain almost as a straight line, but not exactly a straight line. It does not have the vast fluctuations in prices that we see in Bronx or Staten Island. Now, there are many external factors that could affect this change. The other thing that we could see is how ratings are affected over a time. It is obviously very important that we maintain the property that we are listing, and we see how the ratings began to grow and suddenly drop from 2014 to 2015. To conclude, we can say that although there is a vast difference in the average prices per cities over this period and also the average review list ratings for these cities, something really happened between the 2014 and 2012 and 14 period that caused a change or a vast fluctuation in the average prices for Bronx and Staten Island. For With the vast difference in prices on an average and the ratings, we can say Manhattan is the most popular host destination. What would be interesting to see is what caused the sudden price increase and drop in the period between 2012 and 2015 for Bronx and Brooklyn that changed or drove their prices to go so high in such a short span of time. Thank you.